All right, welcome in everybody. Right at 11:05 on the East Coast on this beautiful Wednesday, full of best bets in the NBA. We got 13 games in action, I believe, tonight. We got a few college hoops actions, NHL soccer plays as well, and NFL thoughts. So we got a lot on the board. We'll see what we get to in today's episode of Daily Bread, powered by the Wise Guys Diamond Club. Be sure to be hopping into their DMs for a weekend, week, or month package before it is too late. We're live on Twitter. The link's actually up in the title today. I just got on robot mode most times and just say it. Sometimes my dumb brain forgets to put it in there, but jump over to the YouTube page if you're watching on Twitter to be featured. StreamYard and Twitter still hate each other. We wish we could feature everyone's comments, best bets, so they can always clout, give a shit, whatever the hell they want to do, because we got the best subs out there. So we appreciate everyone who follows and shares today's episode and all the episodes. But Sosa, how we feeling?
It's great. We got 13 NBA games today. We're at the midway point of the NFL season. And I'm excited about the second half. We got the World Cup in 13 days?
Less than that. I think it's like 11 at this point.
11 days.
And we got college football. We could have had a spectacular weekend of games if the committee made it 12 teams. Just putting it out there. There's still some chaos scenarios out there in the college football landscape as well. But
absolutely.
You have a lot of dud games, for example, the Alabama game this weekend. I mean, it's still going to be hype between him and Ole Miss, but still a lot more to be played for if it was 12 teams. I don't know if they should expand. I haven't decided that. Just always like to put out some beef and shit out there for no reason.
Yeah, I just don't know what it would actually benefit at the end of the day if it's a money making thing.
You would get USC versus Alabama in the first round, and the winner of that would face Georgia. You tell me you don't want to see that? Michigan
Alabama
versus Tulane might be a little bit of a weak matchup, but if you're giving me USC, Bama into the winner playing Georgia, I'm about it.
Yeah, and the winner would be Alabama. They'd beat the shit out of them. I wouldn't be close.
I know, but still, that's where it'd be solid there from that perspective. But
yeah, I mean, I think we get a lot of points, right? But again, I still believe. I know a lot of people don't think so. Ohio State's great offensively, but when it comes to the trenches and defensively, those SEC teams just got it, man. They just got it.
I think it's just Georgia almost at this point. I hope Caitlin's not watching.
I think the demise of Alabama has been greatly exaggerated, but I mean, to the point of dominance that they had reached a couple of years ago, obviously it's not where it was, right? Georgia's clearly exceeded where Alabama was 3-4 years ago. So
I don't even think you have to go that far back. I think it's one hiring that we can completely put this on. Get one guess and I'll say it.
Steve Sarkisian?
Well, you're basically right. No, that's what I'm saying. It was Bill O'Brien because the offense was still cooking with Steve there. Since Bill's been there, it's been Bryce. Just do something.
And it's crazy. I think people don't even realize how much more talented he is as just evading pressure. Just make sure he's looking down the field to actually throw the ball, not scramble. I think people expect certain things from certain quarterbacks that look certain ways. And when they don't do that, people have a different perception of them. So we saw with the poll last night. Obviously, Tennessee is still in the driver's seat. As long as they win out, you got to think that one of those Big Ten teams will cannibalize themselves because Michigan has to play Ohio State. So I think that's the likely expectation here, that Tennessee ends up being that fourth team, regardless, simply because their remaining schedule is very, very light. Their offense should be really, really good. They should have a Heisman finalist in their quarterback.
So you hating on my Horned Frogs?
Yeah, listen.
Even if they go undefeated?
I don't think they go undefeated. I think they find a way to lose a game here. I think it's a definitive fact that they'll lose one of these games. I mean, I love the Duggan story about, he was supposed to redshirt, he ends up losing the job, ends up retaining the job, getting it back. It's a nice story, but
I want the TCU revenge from when Ohio State got in and won the national championship that year. First year of the playoffs. I want TCU to get their vengeance back from that year.
I'm still rocking heavy with Tennessee. I can't deny. I'm rocking heavy with Tennessee. I think I think that they have a multitude of factors like revenge, 1, 2. The offense is still not going to be stopped by any team outside of Georgia. And I think if they see Georgia a second time, they'll be better game planned. They probably would play in a dome. It wouldn't be raining and on grass. Yes, I'm blaming it on the elements because I'm shameless like that. But yeah, other than that, we're halfway through the NFL season. The Dolphins should be undefeated, but they're not because their quarterback missed a couple of games. The Atlanta Falcons are still competing for their division in the league. I think that's probably the biggest shocker. The Seahawks are in the lead in their division. I think that's probably the biggest shocker of all. I think everybody expected the Eagles to be a good football team, the Bills to be good, the Chiefs to be good. If you didn't think the Chiefs were going to be good, it's because you're a hater. I'm just saying. I take that back. Chiefs fans can go eat one. I seen what you just said, Chuck. I immediately take that back. I think a couple of teams that I see here in the back half that can make a run. The Browns, for obvious reasons, we know why. The one guy's coming back. The 49ers, they have elite players on both sides of the ball, offense and defense, can make plays. Any team that you like in this back half that you're thinking of that you kind of think can make a run of some sort?
Depends what you mean. I don't know what you mean, make a run at this point.
Like, as far as, like, contend for a championship.
Do you like saying not in the playoffs, in the playoff picture?
Yeah.
I think the Ravens, if I had to really pick a team out of all of the ones, I like
Well, they're in
where
first
they're
place.
What?
Well, they're in first place, so
I don't know. I just kind of like how they're built at this point where the defense will figure it out at the end of it. Making the move for Roquan Smith, I think, is the biggest piece that was kind of went under the radar a little bit. But you saw him in the first game once he gets a few more reps in there. I don't know. I just think they're the most set up. Sure, the wide receivers are banged up. Duvernay had 1 catch for 5 yards the last game, but they're figuring out ways to win. If they stop blowing the big leads, that's really their issue. So if I've seen a team that's been dominant for, what do you say, 3/4 of almost every game and then
yeah,
just has brain farts, I have the most confidence in them to put it together. That might be a shaky looking team.
fair enough. Obviously, that Josh Allen situation with the injury, I don't know how bad it is. Hopefully, it's not as bad as when he was a rookie, had to miss 4 games. But then again, if your starter goes out for 4 games and you have one of the best defenses in football, you shouldn't have any problems, right?
Do you really think the Niners make a deep run?
I think we win the whole thing.
I mean, there's no one really in the division that can give you too much beef
Yeah.
if Seattle's the top dog still.
I think we play y'all. If we play y'all in Philly, I think we win it. I think we figure out a way. Obviously, y'all haven't lost yet this season. You've looked really good on both sides of the ball. Obviously, Jordan Davis not being available, the run defense looked a little shaky. But when it comes to executing at a high level, AJ Brown looks like an All-Pro. You guys got everything you could ask for the assembly of a modern football team. So I do think that our defense is equipped to stop Jalen Hurts and to make him make some level of mistakes. I also think that the addition of Christian McCaffrey, we get Elijah Mitchell back this week after the bye. He's finally healthy. He's missed, I think the last 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Who's your quarterback?
Jimmy's the quarterback, but he's been there before. So again, like I can't. Well, what are we going to say? He's not experienced. He's been.
No, I was about to say in the 1-game situation, given the experience, given it, would you rather, and the teams are equally the same, would you rather have Jalen or Jimmy?
Jimmy, he's been there before.
I'm taking the hungrier dog in this battle. Then I'm taking the hungrier dog.
I mean, I seen y'all in a playoff game last year, and he looked confused as fuck. I want to see
the one thing I found with Jalen that he's did in this game, and it was against the Tampa 2 last week, he's finally getting the touch to get it in between the corner and the safety, which is one thing he's lacking. It really helps when AJ Brown's the piece in there, but he's finally getting the touchdown, which in the last game, in the playoff game at the Bucs, I think that's old news at this point. Hopefully he doesn't go back to that form, but I think he's just put in the work to know exactly what cost him that game, and he's made differences. That's about it.
Get these
Your
guys.
guy's gone in the wrong direction. That's all I got to say.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Well, we shall see. I'm excited again. I think the playoff race is going to be very, very fun as we come down
That
here.
would be a rough Super Bowl for me.
Hey, man, listen up.
Always love Big Red.
Yeah, when the Niners beat Josh Allen, never mind. Well, let's get it.
Well, no, I got to get back to your Bengals tweet from the other day about how they only beat the backup quarterbacks.
Yeah,
You
and
really
have
think
lost to
that's
four of
true?
them. They've lost to four of them. I'm not making it up. It's a fact. The Bengals have lost to four backup quarterbacks this year. That's not good. That's terrible.
But don't we usually see this from the Super Bowl hangover from the loser? You drop a few early, you get through this, you see if you can clean it up late. I mean, they're in a tough spot with the AFC where they're currently slated to make up the ground. I mean, I still think they can sneak their way in, but it's kind of looking exactly like a Super Bowl hangover, the easy narrative. You hate to
That's because
say
you
it,
love.
but
It's because you love Joe Burrow, and I understand it. The love runs deep. It runs deep for that guy, for his fans. I get it. I totally agree. I think he's a very good football player. They overachieved like a motherfucker last year. People don't want to state it. They don't. They overachieved. They're a 7-loss team. He stepped out of bounds, threw a touchdown against Oakland, got to win the game. Got sacked like a million times in 2 other playoff games and figured out a way to get past them. I'm not taking anything away from them. I feel like the team overachieved last year. They faced some trash quarterbacks this season. They've both good against some. They've been okay against others. They got put on the Summer Jam screen against against the Browns with their backup quarterback. So, what is there to take away from it? They're 0-3 in the division. What are you going to say that's good about this team? They beat Andy
Jamar
Dalton.
Chase being in the lineup, which they don't have.
They beat Andy Dalton, Teddy Bridgewater, PJ Walker. Are you impressed by that?
No, but it's
Like,
the
that's not
point. You can
impressive to
only
me.
play who you play.
That's
And
fair.
plus, the only thing I want to say about this tweet and why I brought it up, I think any 14 ranked team plus almost is running with a backup quarterback at this point. The quarterback level in production in this league is almost at an all-time low. You have 5 guys that are keeping it up, but anyone that's like on the back half, 15 plus, you're almost running with backup quality at this point, man.
I absolutely agree. But it's just like, again, it's just to say, like, and it also lets you know the quality of the starter, right? The backups lose so many games because it doesn't matter who the team is. There's a reason why one guy's the starter and one guy's the backup. And there's usually a precipitous drop off between the two, no matter how bad the team is cumulatively. It's just how it is. So yeah, that's just some of my assessment. I still think that the Bengals are good, but I do believe that Baltimore will run away with that division. I think that Baltimore or the Bengals might have a shot at like getting the wild card, but I do think that Baltimore is in a position here to start distancing themselves relatively quickly, in that division. Just
Well,
how I feel.
let's get into our best bets, and then we can talk Dolphins and Colts. How about after we talk some NBA action? Make sure you like, follow, retweet, sub, because those might be longer tangent conversations about the Colts and the Fins at this point of the season.
Yes, sir.
All right, NBA action. We got the one game that's moved up from the Hurricane. I'm staying away from it. You like anything in the Mavs game there?
Not touching. Don't like the spot. Obviously, if anything, it'd be Luka to score 50. That'd be it. Just him to go off, to average whatever he averages and just take his points because he's been absolutely unstoppable. They let him do whatever he wants. They let him travel whenever he wants. They let him cha-cha slide, 2-step, crip walk, whatever the fuck. They just let this guy do whatever the hell he wants. So
The only way I was thinking about going this one here is I wanted to smash you over because I think we could see a bubble-esque game from here. Get in, get out.
I think Paolo's points, if anything. Yeah, I mean,
I think it's going to be a LA Fitness game. It's going to
I
be
agree.
5:30 off schedule. You're not used to it. You guys have your habits. It's not a weekend game. You got to get out quick afterwards.
I like the double-double for Wendell Carter. I'm pretty Last game, he managed to get 3 fouls in the first 7 minutes of the game, which I did not think was humanly possible. 3 fouls in the first 7 minutes? Unbelievable. And still ended up with like 7 boards, I believe. So I think that'd probably be my favorite look. The bigs don't necessarily strike any fear in me for Dallas. I believe his double double was at it was something kind of not playable that I think it wasn't like crazy. Recorded double double. It's not showing up. Minus 138. Not the best, but you know.
So my first official play of the day could be a little trappy, could be a little ratty. Highest total on the board. I'm going to be backing the Pacers at home with the +6. I make this a little bit closer to a 3-point spread to a pick 'em. So far this season on the road, you got the Nuggets 2-4 ATS, and especially when the total's higher, they're still 2-4, and that's where the Pacers have been thriving this season in the high total games. All 3 of their games that had a total over 230 at home have gone over. So I just think we see pure offense from here. Nuggets have found ways to let teams back into the games and not look clean to close out. Sleepy spot in Indiana. I like the Pacers +6, -110.
Yes, sir. I do have a play in that one as well as Tyrese Halliburton double-double at -125. Pace, those guards don't really scare me that much from Denver as far as like perimeter defense. And just, when the games are higher totals, we get more competitive ball games, and they're usually played in the high one teens. So if I'm going to get him on the floor for 37 minutes, Halliburton, double-double, -125. I love that play.
Where's your next action on the board?
Next action is just a straight eye test play, and that's in the Portland Trailblazers Charlotte Hornets game. It's Dame Lillard over 3.5 3-pointers made. He's going to put up 8 to 11 of them every time he goes out there. He got his first game out the way. All the cobwebs are knocked off. He's good to go. I mean, I think over 3.5 at +110, closer to game time. This is going to get to closer to probably +100, maybe even to like, maybe even flip to the other side. Dame's going to get the volume. He's Dame Lillard. He's averaging 29 a game. There's a reason why. Over 3.5 3-pointers made it +110. Also, do like Terry Rozier's numbers. No Hayward in the lineup. Rozier and Oubre are very, very good looks. They're going to get a high volume of shots, and they're going to shoot threes as well. So those are both solid looks as far as player props in that particular ball game.
My question for you to see if I have a second NBA play to be locking in. Maybe it's a little bit of rivalry, but Ben Simmons does own the Knicks, but I think the Knicks could be hungry dogs tonight over the Nets just because I don't know why you'd be backing them even though you're getting a short price. Plus, the Knicks only beat teams with losing records. Fits the narrative here. I don't know. There's just too much going on. I don't want to get into what's going on in the Nets organization, but when there's that much chaos and you got the Knicks who always get up to play the Nets, what do you like in this one?
Nah, to be honest, I lean towards picking Kevin Durant against average teams. I think they should have won against Dallas.
Do you just call Dallas an average team?
No, I'm saying they competed very well for 4 quarters in the game. The final score was not indicative of how the game really went, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like they won the game by a bucket. The Nets played really good. As far as like the game script goes, I mean, anytime both teams don't break 100 points, there was a lot of missed shots. Like both teams didn't even break 100, so we got a lot of bricks. But to be right there, those are the games that I would pick Kevin Durant when the game is close, 2 3-point game. I would veer towards the team that had him. So if that's going to be the case, I would lean the Nets, but that's just a lean for me, not a. I will not be betting anything.
Give me the next money line +140.
Ooh, all right. Well, here we are.
We're backing sub-average teams today.
Here we are.
2 5-5 teams got my money. Trying to get over that 600 bubble today, or 500 bubble.
Also, if you actually look at tonight's NBA schedule, it's going to be hard to watch. These games kind of stink. These games, they kind of suck. Like, I mean, bruh,
The Hawks versus the Jazz might be the best matchup on the
bro,
board tonight.
I'm looking
And
at
who
the
would have
games
thought
like
that?
these games suck. Pacers, Nuggets, Blazers, Hornets, Pistons, Celtics,
If
Rockets,
the
Raptors.
T-Wolves
Like,
weren't just cheeks, that would be a good game against the Suns. But let's get into the game that I just talked about, the Jazz versus the Hawks. What do you like here? Because Trey doesn't look to be 100%, and Murray cooking.
Hawks -3.
Woo!
I'm on the Hawks at the crib. Listen, I like this Utah team. They're an upstart team. I also like what the organization is doing. The organization has pretty much told these players, play free, pass the ball, move the ball. They're not running a bunch of crazy sets. They got a veteran point guard in Conley. They got another veteran guard in Clarkson. It's a team full of vets. Like everyone's been through some stuff, right? They have very good six man. They got a very good shooter coming off the bench. Lauri Markkanen is probably playing the best basketball of his career on both sides of the ball.
Mhm.
I think that this is just an organization that knows where they're headed as far as like accruing assets. They have a lot of young players on affordable contracts, and the first 40 games is basically just a trial for them for other teams. I know people want to believe in this Utah team because of the assortment of, and everybody is always cheering for the underdog or the team that no one sees coming. I think by the All-Star break, by the trade deadline, 5 or 6 of these dudes probably won't even be in Utah. I think it's just you fatten the pig to sell to someone who's going to slaughter it. In wake of a different term, but yeah, I just don't see. That's how I view this Utah team. I think that they're just out there playing freely, and all those guys are just putting up numbers to be big time attractions for another team. So I think tonight Atlanta. I would be lying to you if I didn't say I wasn't. I'm a bit surprised how good they've been with Murray. But obviously, like I spoke the other day, Murray understands protecting the basketball, not turning it over, getting his team into good sets, and kind of understanding how to control the pace of a ball game, which is a skill that, I mean, maybe 7 or 8 players in basketball right now can even do. So when you have that to go with Trae Young's scoring and passing ability, it makes for one hell of a backcourt. I was a bit pessimistic at first, because I didn't know how it would work. We'd never seen Trae Young off ball, but it shows you the other night, like he can hold down the fort just fine, even if Trae doesn't play or Trae doesn't play well. So yeah, Atlanta's looking really, really good to start the season. The issue over the last couple of years is that guys that they've depended on have gotten hurt. And guys that they've invested in have gotten hurt. So it's got to hope that they get to the finish line healthy and they don't hurt themselves during the regular season playing for a good record, as opposed to being healthy when the time is right.
We back in the Pels tonight.
I want to, but that last game make them unbettable for me. I had a -5.5, and I probably shouldn't have touched the 5.5, but I want to back
0-4 ATS in November so far for the Pels, 1-3 to the over. So game's been a little bit tougher to watch, and maybe Chicago's starting to find their form. 4-1 ATS in their past 4 or 5.
I think that the play in the Bulls game is to just take DeMar DeRozan to get 40. I know that sounds crazy, right?
No,
It sounds kind of nuts. Like, why would you do that, right? Well, here's why. Because he's gone, let me pull it up and he's gone 29, 46, 29. So naturally he should drop 46 tonight, right? I'm just saying, if you believe that's been his last 5 games. He's gotten 20, 9 points, 46, 20, 9 points. Right? I mean, DeMar DeRozan to go off tonight. Play him to get 30.
no respect for the Pels defense here.
Fuck no. Because listen, he's had 2 bad games. I bet him the other night to get 24.5, and he didn't even take any shots. going 3 straight games where he just doesn't shoot the ball or just unless he's sick or something. I think he plays well. Games at the crib. I like the Pels, but they're a different team away from the Smoothie King Center. Just going to call it what it is. They're different. They're a different team on the road. They don't play as good.
Unless it's in
Those
Phoenix.
those role players start looking like role players at times, and it's no disrespect, but again, that's the mark of a great team because everybody's going to have a great record at home. All the good teams are going to have great records at home. It's about how you go on the road and perform. The Sixers, perfect example. Remember a couple of years ago, we were like 39-2. We had like an insane home record. We went on the road, we're like 6 games under 500, 6-7 games, probably worse than that. So yeah, you gotta perform on the road. I don't give a fuck if you're a young team. At this point, it's the second year together. Just adding Zion should have just pushed the ascension even faster. It's not happening yet. They're a good basketball team. They're talented, but they got to perform better on the road and not against the fucking Lakers.
You like anything else on the board today?
A couple of things I liked. Devin Vassell over 2.5 threes. Take it to 4. They done juiced to 2.5. We're not getting the 2.5 at a good price anymore. It's minus 145. Shop around, probably get a better price, closer to like 130. I'd take it. Nurkic to get a double tonight against Charlotte. Well worth the bet. It's like minus 145. They have no real bigs that can really contain him. And he gets a lot of rebounds from a backcourt that misses a lot of shots. And I think I'm leaning Detroit plus 13. I think I'm leaning that way. Not quite on it yet, but I think I like Detroit to cover tonight against Boston.
Big number there.
Big number.
Yeah, the Kings-Cavs game just kind of put my brain in a mixer, so I didn't want to touch that because you got the Kings. They're just thrive in the underdog spot, can't cover as favorites. Not a big surprise. The Kings are 5-1 ATS as dogs. It's tough to try to find a negative trend against the Cavs since they're 8-2 ATS overall as well.
Yes, sir.
All right, you want to get back to your thoughts on the Colts or the Finns first?
Hey, listen, I have no problem with Jeff Saturday getting hired. You know why? At least they didn't hire a black guy to blame it on. Just how I feel. Like the Panthers. They went and got Steve Wilkes. Why? Because he appeals to the players in the building.
My biggest thing is how does he say that they had nobody currently on the staff that was qualified for the position when you have John Fox there?
Listen, John Fox, Reggie Wayne. Listen, I understand where Irsay's at too. He done gave people that were from different organizations the green light to run his franchise for the last 5 years. And it's not done. It's not been good. Anytime you lose Andrew Luck, it's going to be difficult. But bruh, it shouldn't take this long to find, it shouldn't take this long, in my opinion. So I think that he's taken back the reins of his organization. I can't really be mad at Irsay. I do agree that, yes, absolutely. The Rooney Rule is a joke. The hiring process, I get all of that. I get that. But right now, I don't think anybody really wants to be the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. They don't. Like, who is he? Why? You know what the franchise is about right now. They're about losing and trying to get a draft pick. Who the fuck wants to coach that? Like, really, who wants to do that? I couldn't imagine someone wanting to show up to try to motivate guys that you're not trying to win with.
Do you think they get Jonathan Taylor to play and stop holding out?
Oh, no. Jonathan Taylor needs to go on IR tomorrow. What you mean? Like, fuck all that. Go out there and you put months and months of work in to play for a franchise not trying to win? Please. I've said it last week. As soon as first off, when they brought Ellinger, I'm like, okay, he might not come back. He played a few snaps. Get rid of him. Sit down and get healthy. Shout out to Jersey. Jonathan Taylor should not put on a Colts uniform the rest of the year, unless to do pictures for next season. No, I don't want none of that. He should not play another down this season. Why? Because the team's not trying to win. You know he's not trying to win. Why are you putting yourself out there trying to get fucked up? They done traded away Hines. You don't even have a competent backup. The third string guy just got hurt. Fuck that.
Yeah, and
Absolutely not.
Deion Jackson was looking solid as well, making a name for himself, hopefully trying to pick up a solid contract at the end of this year because that's what he was playing for. Now you got what, Philip fucking Lindsay and James Cook, I believe.
Yeah, all right. Like, what? I'm saying, man, it's just an unwinnable situation. If we're going to talk about we said you want to talk about the Dolphins. I mean, what's there to
The
say?
most overhyped team, or is it
Absolutely.
respect? Or is it due?
Hey, man, listen, people don't have to respect them once they keep beating people. You just have to win in the league, right? It don't have to look pretty. Just win. They got the best weapon in football, bar none, no questions asked. It's Tyreek Hill, uno, number one, best weapon in football by a lot. Um, yeah. Other than that, like I said, I think they're legit. If Tua doesn't get hurt, they don't lose 3 games, bro. Like, no. And
Well,
that's
didn't they
why I
lose
keep
the
saying
first
the
game of the
value of a
season?
starting quarterback is such a big deal. I didn't catch what you just said. Sorry.
I said, oh, they only lost when Tua was out. I thought they lost the first of the season if I was blanking.
No, they lost their first game. They lost was when Tua got the
Yeah.
concussion against the Bengals and had to go out and bridge. That was their first loss.
Yep.
So
Not much else on the board. I just want to say to the college basketball people, you probably scheduled the worst opening week, if not, I don't know how long to this season. 2 days back to back with 12 and 11 games. I think only there's 6 where two D1 teams play against each other today, or 12. It's pretty terrible of a slate. At least we get Gonzaga, Michigan State coming up, but it is a rough college basketball stretch. The smaller days are the days I like to stay away because the books are sharper. So Saturday should be pretty lovely in the college basketball world with college football going on big time.
Shaheen Holloway, first game tonight at Seton Hall, head coach. Magical run with St. Peter's last year. Do not be surprised if he has Seton Hall just jumping out the gym within 3 seasons because he's one hell of a recruiter. He understands hoops. He understands how to assemble rosters. Shaheen Holloway, first official game at Seton Hall tonight. Shout out to him. They play Monmouth. You think they
Yep,
covered the 18 and a half?
probably. First game for him. I think he's got the program going in the right direction because they kept making it to the tourney. They were getting the talent in there. Willard was just keeping them back and couldn't get it over the road. I think Sheen could probably even get better talent in, especially being a true alum. I think they're set up for success here in the Big East, where I think Nova's coming down. And you don't believe
No,
it. I
they're
think
not.
they're
No,
not hard.
no,
Like, get
no,
used to seeing a 16, a 25 next to their
no.
name. You're not going to see any more top 10s next to their
They'll
name.
be they'll be top 10
You're
a
going to
week.
be
A
impressed with
them
them beating
They'll be top
Pastovich
10.
and
They'll
the
be top
Owls to start
10.
the season.
They'll be top 10 a week before Christmas. Villanova's not going nowhere, bro.
Not
I
this year. I'm telling
I
you, they will.
I watched. Listen, the way they execute, they're still right there this year, and they're still gonna get players to come. Nope. Villanova's in good hands. They're in good hands.
If only Georgetown could get a little bit better, they could actually start taking some talent back away from them because, whew,
St.
taking
Joe's.
the overtime by Coppin State last night.
I saw that, but again, I believe in Patrick Ewing. Let's just hope that they're learning his system. Howie did not get fired last year is an anomaly, and I'd cheer for him heavy. And don't be so quick to say Providence sucks. Ed's a hell of a coach. I think Ed, he you just got to give him time, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to give him some time.
Yeah, there really wasn't most. I think the worst loss was the Oklahoma loss, even though Sam Houston State's a solid squad, but just the way no one stopped the ball in that last possession was pretty putrid when he had the chance to close out the game.
Hey, man, college basketball. I'm ready for the
Yeah,
roller.
just remember half of these kids that aren't in the Power Five probably have to take their History 101 exam tomorrow. But we'll be back at you live tomorrow. We get a great Thursday night football game, so don't you worry about that. And plenty of other action out there. We appreciate everyone who tapped in, like, follow, retweet, sub, and we're out.